time to get into this NBA Finals preview. We know Thursday, Pacers versus Thunder. I want to get you guys a prediction, but I'm going to get that towards the end of the question just to kind of see what y'all are feeling like. So in this series, besides SGA, who do you think is the biggest X factor? Mase.
Besides SGA, when it comes to the 2025 NBA Finals, I think it truly comes down to the Halliburton, man. This is what it's about. He said he was underrated. They said he was the most overrated player. All of this stuff. This is where it counts. He's the X factor in this. If he plays phenomenal, it's a great series. If he doesn't play well, this series is not going to be good at all. You know, it's really going to boil down to the type of Halliburton that shows up. Siakam is going to do what he does. Besides SGA, I think he's the most important player on the floor.
When you say X factor, it should be X factors for each team. I think the X factor for OKC outside of SGA, it would probably, my personal opinion, it would probably have to be J. Will. Because Chet's going to give you what Chet can give you. He's long, he's lanky paws. Hartenstein is there for the backup, move Chet to the 4, I think, or the 3 maybe sometimes even. But I really believe it boils down to J. Will. He to me, I'm definitely putting Halliburton above him, but he's not consistent game to game. The last couple games, he's been consistent, but throughout the playoffs, he hasn't been consistent. Now, the X factor on the Indiana Pacers, I would definitely say it has to be Halliburton, just because of the inconsistency. And Halliburton has some great moments, but game to game. And don't get it fucked up. The moments that he had were backbreakers, pause. Like, you don't get to the next round off the moments that he had, but we can't have 8 points games from supposed to be or want to be superstars. It doesn't matter what's going on. Even with Shay's going to get 30. Even when you don't think he got 30, by the time you look up, how the fuck he get 28 in the middle of the third quarter? You look up and he's a factor. This is the real series that Halliburton needed, to be totally honest with you. This is the series to prove that, yeah, I'm one of them niggas. I'm one of the best. Not saying he's not one of the best point guards now, but you got the MVP right there on the other side of the court. Not only on the other side of the court, you are facing him to win a championship. This is where you could step up and say, this y'all king. This the nigga y'all been praising the last 3 years. This the nigga y'all gave the MVP to. Now, you do that, not talking about by team effort. Of course it takes a team to do it. Talk about you be the man. Then I could go with the Halliburton or something. I'm not going with that right now. Right now, the Halliburton's on the other side of the court. That nigga Shai Gilgeous is not coming to play no games. You can't rattle him, very smooth. And he's not Jalen Brunson. No disrespect to Jalen Brunson, because I think Jalen Brunson is all world. He's second team, all NBA. But he's not a little guard that you can just muscle. He's not one of them niggas that you have to hide on defense. He's a legit 6'6", 6'7", and you're not just gonna bully him because he's smaller. He's not a small guard. He will be a problem. So that's the X factors on both sides of the ball for me.
Okay. And now, who do we think is the better head coach? Are we going with Carlisle or are we going with Dagnall?
I'm going with Carlisle. I gotta go with Carlisle. All the history goes with Carlisle, and you know, being the president of Titletown, I gotta go with the person who last won the championship.
How was he a Titletown won championship?
You're right. I'm saying that we're going with who's been there, who actually won one. He's the one that knows what it takes to win one. So, in the time that he won it, it was with supreme coaching. He beat a team down there in Miami that was stacked. They were loaded. They had LeBron. They had Wade. They had what's his name? Chris Bosh. They had Norris. They had all kind of people down there. And the real thing that he was able to do is get Jason Terry to believe he can compete with LeBron. If you can get Jason Terry to believe he can outplay LeBron, you can will this Indiana team to a championship. And that's how I'm looking at this. Like whatever he told him in that time was amazing.
Rick Carlisle's not even close. Like I said, he's a championship coach. Not only a championship coach, he was kind of shoved out of Dallas. They'll never disclose it because he's a professional, and Mark Cuban handled it like a professional. But we know Luka Doncic and him wasn't on the same page, and that was basically the demise of his coaching career in Dallas. It was like, we got to go with the superstar, we got to go with the coach. And they ended up going with the superstar that's not even there anymore. But who would think that you get, first of all, you think about preseason and guessing who's going to make it to the finals, Eastern Conference Finals and everything. And the Pacers, the last 2 seasons, was not on anybody's radar to go to the Eastern Conference Championship, let alone go to the NBA Finals. When this season started, we say, oh my God, Philly looks good. The Knicks just had a good season last season. We know Milwaukee got Damian Lillard. He was going through personal problems. Him and the Greek Freak going to be crazy. What about Boston? Boston going for another championship run. Blah, 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 blah. Indiana Pacers back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Next year, Indiana Pacers in the NBA Championship. So we have to get to Rick Carlisle. Now, what's going on with the OKC coach? I don't want to say his name, so I don't want to say it.
Dagnall.
No. The whole thing about him is we got to give him credit too. He's been coaching 5 years. First game, he won about 20 to 24 games, 30. The last 2 seasons has been really amazing. He was a G League coach with OKC, but he's still climbing. He still has time to get where Rick Carlisle has been. Young coach. The GM believed in him, and now he has opportunity to prove himself. But we're going off experience, and I think the championship experience definitely was displayed last round with Rick Carlisle after losing that first heartbreaking loss to the Knicks in the first game, and for him to come back and make adjustments each game, you can't do more than that. But Dagnall is on his way, but right now the experience definitely goes to Carlisle.
Okay, then we're always talking about the stars, which rightfully so. We're going to talk about the starters, but in you guys' opinion, who has the better bench, the Thunder or the Pacers?
They both have really good benches, but I think more points can come off the bench of Indiana. I saw one of the guys, number 3, that came off the bench for Indiana. He was just shooting the ball really, really well. And when you got people like that that's coming off the bench that could light up, that can get 3 threes, that's gonna make a difference in a close game, you know. When you look at Caruso is scrappy for OKC, but I think more points comes off of the bench of the Indiana Pacers. I think better defense comes off the bench for OKC. So it's just really a matter of what they need that night. If they need points off the bench, then OKC may be in trouble. And since defense wins the championships, then you'll find yourself leaning more towards OKC.
Okay, Cam?
It's a tough one, man. But I'm going to have to, right presently, more with Indiana as well, because like Mase said, Caruso's a gem off the bench. Not only Caruso, they have some other hidden gems. They have the other Williams that comes off the bench. He's great too. But right now, you got to think about McConnell's that little school teacher getting there and do what the fuck you gotta do, man. I like that little white boy, man. Cause that nigga ain't got no fear. He was looking at niggas like, yo, soon, he don't even get in rhythm. When you sub him in, he's looking to score as soon as he gets in the game. I'm like, who the fuck this little white boy think he is? And he get the basket. You know, he didn't have the best game the last game that they played or the last couple games, but he could be a problem potentially because you underestimate him because he's short and white. Not only that, you're thinking about Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin can have a good game from time to time. He brings size off the bench. Bryant, right now I'm gonna have to go with Indiana, but I'm not mad.
Thomas Bryant.
Yeah,
that was the name.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at OKC's bench either. But right now, just looking at what the bench done against New York, we're on with the Indiana Pacers.
Okay, and then speaking on specific player matchups, Mase, which one are you looking out for? Which one do you think is going to be a good matchup in the game?
The biggest matchup is SGA versus Halliburton. Whoever wins that is who wins the series. I don't think it boils down to anybody else. I think somebody like the power forward, what's his name? He plays streaky sometime. Miles Turner. He's the one that's supposed to make a difference in this series as well. If he has an explosive first 2 games, we could be looking at Indiana being the champs. I think if somebody that could really make a difference, even though we're focused on the SGA thing and SGA versus Halliburton, it's really going to boil down to Miles Turner. Put a star by his name, because when we're looking back at this series, he will be the indicator of if they are the champs. If he doesn't show up, there's no way they can win it. It doesn't matter what anybody else does.
The key matchup. See, that's the thing about matchups in the NBA today. It's almost like football. Because you'll sit there and say Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady or fucking Lamar Jackson, whatever. And they don't really play each other. They're not even on the field at the same time. But that's the matchup you say. So when you sit there and say, not Mase, I'm talking about in general, Halliburton and SGA, they probably not gonna guard each other. Maybe SGA guard Halliburton, but they know you're not putting Halliburton on SGA, even though I think these are the 2 names that is the matchup who's gonna be definitive to win the series. It's just a shame that we don't get the matchups to where niggas are scared to guard their own position these days. And now that's just sad, because if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And now they hide you on defense to where you don't have to be exposed that you're not that good of a defender. It's like right now I see some shit where they trying to ban, you know, the Hacker Shack murder where they foul you on purpose, how they was doing that to the center for the Knicks. I can't think of that bum ass name right now. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson. How they was doing it to him, and I see they're gonna try and do a vote this offseason to stop that. They say it slows the game down, but no, I don't like that. It's just, basketball is not football. You have to play offense, you have to play defense, you have to play special teams, so to speak. You know, just using football terminology. You have to practice your free throws.
Yeah,
it's part of the game. You can't just be like, nah, I don't want to shoot free throws because I'm not good at it. If that's the case, Shaq would have averaged another 12, 14 points if he wasn't allowed to do that. It started called the Hacker Shaq, that's the Hacker Mitchell and the Hacker this, but whatever. That is part of the game. You have ample time and ample hours to practice your free throws. If you can't get it done, then you just can't get it done. If you're good in other areas, you're good in other areas. But you cannot sit there and say, let's not foul this nigga, because you know that he can't make free throws. So that's the matchup I think is going to determine the series down.
Okay, and then now time for the final question. So you guys gave your biggest X factor. You guys both said Carlisle is the better head coach. You actually both said the Pacers have the better bench. Talked about your player matchups. Mase, who do you think, and it's just a prediction, it's not set, who do you think is going to win it all?
I got to stand with Indiana because I've been saying that all the playoffs. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if OKC win. I think if OKC win, it's gonna be a blowout series, like 4-1. I think if one person on Indiana doesn't show up, they're gonna lose 4-1. But I want Indiana to win.
Mase, who are you picking, bro?
Said I want Indiana to win.
I actually you want. See, that's how you saved yourself.
Like, I didn't say they were gonna win. I said I wanted them to win.
Not who you want to win. Who's gonna win? Safety net, nigga.
OKC is gonna win.
Thank you. I concur.
That was a good question, because that was a crazy switch.
No, I want Indiana to win, but I feel like OKC is gonna win.
I agree. I think OKC is gonna win. I just think that, you know, Miles Turner doesn't know how to control himself. He gets himself in foul trouble a lot. And I think that OKC really could play around with that 4 and 5 position with Hartenstein and Chet. You know, even when Chet's out the game, you got Hartenstein in. When Hartenstein's not in the game, you got Chet in. And when they're both in at the same time, it's a miniature Twin Towers almost, you know what I'm saying? Dort has really showed his game throughout the playoffs. Of course, we talk about Shea and Jay Will, them 3. Listen, It's a great matchup.
Yeah,
Man.
it's
a
really blue
good matchup.
collar finals.
Yeah, it's a really a great matchup, and what Siakam has been doing has been really, really great. The difference is that you have to do that now against somebody who's 7-1. Chet is 7-1. Because Chet starts at the 4. When they got Harstein starting and Chet starting, he starts at the 4. And when you're 6'7", maybe 6'8", and you're dealing with an agile 7-1, we're talking about Chet. Not only that, it might be a liability. Not saying a liability because Siakam plays his ass off, but if they ended up spreading the floor on the offense and not running, Chet could shoot the jump shot as well. That's a real, outside of Shea and Tyrese Halliburton, that's a key matchup as well. Chet Holmgren against Pascal Siakam, that's really going to be able to tell who wins this series as well. That's a very, very key matchup. The young, tall, lanky guy, pause, or the African on a mission, nigga, that already got a championship, nigga. Who wants it more, pause. So I think that's really, I know I said Halliburton and Shea, but I think that's really the marquee matchup. Siakam and Chet, and we'll see what happens, but I'm going with OKC.
Yeah, that's a good one. And actually, last question, because this was kind of trending too. Are you guys excited to watch this series? Because a lot of people were like, Thunder and Pacers, I'm not watching the finals, that's boring, da-da-da-da. Like, what's y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, in the regular season, they beat the Pacers twice. So I don't think OKC thinks the Pacers could beat them at all. If they're looking forward to this series, they're like, we have a championship. It's ours to lose. That's how they're approaching it. Because during the season, they beat them, convincingly both times.
One second.
And Shea had 45.
As far as does anybody want to watch this? Because Mason didn't answer your question. It's just
you don't want to watch it.
He wants the direct answer.
Okay, I don't want to watch it.
I understand spinning now. I've learned.
I don't want to watch it. They beat already the Pacers twice in the regular season. Each time they played, it seemed like Shea was having the game of the century. So it's like, why would I want to see that again? It's nothing new. They didn't add nobody new. They're gonna put the same people on Naismith or Neesmith on Shea, and Shea gonna get 50. He probably might have 50 in this series.
Yeah, that to me, all that shit is out the window because the Knicks couldn't beat nobody in the regular season that was top 3. They couldn't beat OKC. They couldn't beat Cleveland. They couldn't beat the Celtics, and he made it farther than everybody except for OKC. So sometimes what happens in the regular season doesn't determine what happens in the playoffs. But to answer the question, I'm going to watch it because I'm a basketball fan, and this is the last of basketball. If I'm a casual basketball fan, not Camr'on Giles, a regular nigga who just watch basketball, no. Nobody outside of the state of Indiana and Oklahoma City really care unless you love basketball. You got to think about this. Even though, like I said, I'm proud of Pacers for what they did, etc. You got to think about this, and no shade to the Pacers. Think about how much litter this would have been in the Garden. This would have been pandemonium. I told niggas if the Knicks make it to the chip, I'm going to go back. I said, I'll get a ticket for this because this is going to be actual pandemonium. You sat there and thought you might seen some stars the last 4 or 5 weeks. Nigga, Michael Jackson might have came out the ground for this joint, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy the Garden would have been. And I think a lot of people who are just casual basketball fans watch to see like, oh, Chris Rock is there, or Ben Stiller's there. Oh my God, look at so-and-so. Look at the Jenners there, or whatever. When you're in certain places, it's more lit. Same thing like if it's in LA. When it's in LA, it's lit. Because you don't Jack and Nicholson, you don't know who's gonna be there. It's lit. Certain places are more lit than others. But as a very big fan of basketball, I'm gonna watch it. I think it's gonna be an intriguing series. So yes, I'll definitely watch it. But I understand those that don't want to.
Okay, well, the NBA Finals kicks off on Thursday. In the comments down below, let us know who you guys' picks would be. But that is all the time that we have.